Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles. This is episode 136. I am ArticulateT, the Game Master, and as always I have with me Nether playing Renji Vox.
As me.
I have Hikan Sio being played by Avrdal.
Hello.
I have Rubber Pirate playing Zaiden Shari.
Hey.
And I have Max being played by Kishtruth.
Hello.
So, friends, what happened last time?
Last time, this shouldn't take too long. We rushed over to capture Cassandra, which we did in less than 6 seconds. Due to
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious. Due to use of a lot of things, not including including but not limited to knocking out a horse and using polymorph. Max and Zaiden went over to deliver Cassandra, that's her name, to Hyrule Castletown through use of transport via plants, and Renji and Hikan stayed back and going back towards the Tart. After briefly explaining what has gone on, they noticed that the entire party noticed that the giant robot mechanical beast thing went eastward, and they followed in stealthy silence for some time before getting into a massive battle where Zaiden as a wind elemental was inside and distracting the pilot, and the other three took care of everything outside. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That is indeed it. Yes. So, let me just start up some appropriate music. This one will do. Yeah. So we rejoin our heroes, standing within this cold, windswept area. The smell of charred metal fills the air. Hikan, you are still nursing quite a significant amount of wounds as you stare over the pile of burning wreckage that was once the Iron Liberator. Besides the smouldering, it remains motionless on the ground, but you know that the Bombos medallion is somewhere within that pile. It was the thing powering the machine after all.
I think Hikan sits up and goes, "Okay, we gotta get the medallion out of that, and then we can go do what we need to do elsewhere."
Okay. I materialize an axe from the toilet ether. And
I'm also going to nudge Zaiden to heal Hikan, please.
Hikan, I will cast. Better just go straight to the heal. 7th level heal. Wait, that should be 7th. What?
If you've already used your 7th level spell slot and you don't have any spares, it will insist on casting a higher level one.
No, I had 7th. I put it up a level because I missed that it had already taken the 6th out of the menu.
Okay.
Do that as 7th, so 80 health points.
Okay. Much better.
good.
Yeah. Your grievous wounds patching themselves as the magic works through your system.
Renji, if you're going to be cutting into it to get the medallion out, I have something to help you as well.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
I shall cast Enlarge on Renji.
Oh-ho.
Okay.
I'll help by moving bits out of the way.
Okay. So, Renji, you feel form be enlarged and your strength enhanced as you wander over to the wreckage and begin using your Twilight axe to cut through a lot of it. It's a lot more difficult than one would expect with an axe, given, but then again, the machine was made primarily out of metal, so it's. Yeah, it's essentially just trying to cut through plates of metal. But you do manage to, with like Max's aid and everything, you do manage to maneuver through a lot of the wreckage. I would say actually give me a. You'll succeed either way, but give me a athletics checks with advantage to see how long it takes you.
Athletics with advantage. Okay.
Yes,
That is a 10.
okay.
I am not good at athletics.
So
Wait,
it does.
If with enlarge does strength? Oh, advantage on strength. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't change my strength score.
Unfortunate.
No.
Yeah, you. So it takes you a good. It's unfortunate that the wreckage is. It's a combination of factors. In truth, it was a big machine. All the metal is quite heavy and difficult to cut into, and it's also still quite hot from where it exploded. So it takes a bit of time to kind of sift through. I'm going to say it takes you about 10-15 minutes to get through it in total before eventually you find at the bottom of it all, along with the charred bones of what was once Tovar Redmayne, the pilot, you find a golden disc that has what appears to be a swirling vortex pattern on it. That is not unlike the medallion that is in Hikan's possession at the moment.
I make sure to free it from whatever contraption it was held in.
It doesn't take too long. Like when you get to the housing for the actual medallion itself, it's actually quite delicate. So you're able to quite easily snap them away and take the medallion out.
I wouldn't personally take the medallion out. I would whistle and call out, "Hikan, it's here."
Okay. And yeah, I'll just pull it out if it's delicate and.
You retrieve the medallion.
I think I would then step away from the Iron Liberator and ask for Zidon to dispel his magic.
Okay then.
I dismiss the axe, and I pull 2 sending stones out of my bag of holding. And first I'm going to
just
call
sit
up...
there and say, we should talk while moving. We shouldn't stay here too
Yeah.
long.
Correct. Risha or Impa first?
Don't know.
Impa.
Alright. Take the one to reach Impa. Renji, Storm's Eye calling Impa.
Okay. Give me a second. I need to see how long a thing lasts for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Within the response that you get is 3 words. Not now. Busy.
Oh. Impa's busy. That doesn't sound good.
How soon can we get there?
Good question. Zaiden?
Legend looks for a tree.
Okay.
I have one more spell slot that can do it.
As we're
Yay.
looking for a tree, I will call up Risha. Storm's Eye calling Risha.
I won't be able to do much to help if we have to fight her, because
That's fine.
We'll be able to do something.
Yeah.
I still have plenty of good spell slots left.
um,
turn her into a turtle again.
yeah. So as you can see a tree like close enough in the distance, you can, as you make your way over, you call up Risha. Risha is like, "Hello, Storm's Eye. Risha, what's up? What's happening?"
We've dealt with the remaining vestige of the rebellion. They had a giant construct. It has been incapacitated. Its power source has been removed. We are hearing that Impa at the moment is busy. We think it has to do with Cassandra. You'll get to hear the debrief about that. But we sent Cassandra in polymorphed form to Hyrule Castle. There might be a snag there.
I see. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know. We shall endeavour to change our stratagems and move in on Midos. I take it they haven't issued a formal surrender.
They have not. We have not given any indication about what we've done to Midos. So, as far as we can tell, it is safe to approach Midos, but they might still think that they're in the civil war, so to speak.
I see. Well, at the very least, it gives us avenues for diplomacy. I will not hold you longer. Thank you for letting me know. We shall contact you again if anything comes up.
Of course, and likewise. And that I stow the sending stones again.
Okay. Yeah. Takes you a few minutes to get to that tree, but you do find one that is of suitable size for you to be able to walk through with transport by plants. Which I'm guessing you do, unless there's anything in this general area, this admittedly quite empty area, that you need to do or wish to prepare for before heading through.
Nah.
We've healed.
How much health do you have at the moment? Like, how do you still seem to be weakened?
Give me just a moment to pop some of my stuff.
Okay. Because I still have a greater healing potion, if that is necessary.
Yeah, he got his own healing stuff.
I have mass cure wounds if we've got a bit of healing needed everywhere.
I'm
I'm
only
fine.
missing 11. I'm fine.
I didn't get hit.
30 some odd. I'm 30 some odd down. I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I also have basic cure wounds.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Is there anything else we need from the people, the robot, the corpse of their leader?
Nope. Well, Matt doesn't think he needs anything.
I don't need anything.
Do we want to take the corpse of their leader to avoid resurrection shenanigans with either them themselves or our ultimate enemy?
You mean Tova?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time we started. It wouldn't be the first time we stuffed a body in a bag of holding.
But then we'd have to go back.
Just take the head.
I think we should get to Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, let's get to Hyrule Castle first.
Okay. Which case, Zayden will tap the appropriate tree. It'll swirl open, leading us into our usual tree by our house.
Okay. So, you've returned to Hyrule Castle Town. As you exit the tree, you are greeted with the normal rumble of activity surrounding the town at this time of day. It feels a little brighter here, to be fair. The things that you do pick up with your passive perception as you kind of analyze whatever's going on, you hear that there is a bell that is ringing, a constant bell, despite the fact that it is not on the hour.
An alarm bell?
Something akin to that. You've lived in and around Hyrule Castle Town long enough to know what an alarm bell sounds like. But it's not like a whole city must be on alert sort of thing. It's a little more muted than that.
Is there a particular thing, like I've lived in the castle, do I know that this bell has a particular, like a specific meaning?
Yeah, there's it's not the clamorous bells of mass emergency, because if it was, then you'd have scores of guards moving people around spaces. It seems like most of the civilians here are like left unattended. You know that this bell means one of two things: either it is a minor emergency, such as a house fire or a building collapse or something like that, or a criminal has escaped.
Okay,
Damn.
Cassandra's on the loose. Shit.
Told you we should have killed her.
Fair. Yep. I would like to get out on the street and kind of see if there's anything going on, or if we just make a run for the castle.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fly and
Mhm.
try and see if I can see anyone running in a direction away from where we are now or the castle.
Okay, so before we get onto that, Renji, how do you go about analyzing this sort of situation? Do you kind of eyeball it and get a feel for things, or do you walk up to people and ask them? Because there's a lot of people. It's a busy day. There are a lot of people walking about.
I think I would like to spot if anyone is like paying attention to that bell. Maybe if there is a guard nearby, I would like to go towards them and ask around. Or if it's just like someone who is kind of like noticeably keeping an eye out.
Okay, so since you're interacting with people, I would like
Uh-huh.
I would like Max to give me a standard perception check, and I would like Renji to give me a charisma investigation check.
Charisma investigation.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I think that is...
If you want to roll like standard investigation, then use your charisma modifier instead after looking at the roll, then we can do that too.
I'm trying to figure out, do I have a skill? Yeah, it would be an 8, I think.
Okay.
Plus 8. So my standard performance check, which is not something that I am trained in, is an 8. So I'll just roll performance, and it'll be an investigation.
Yeah.
12.
Okay. So Max, you fly into the air and you have a look and see if you can find any indication that would point you in an adequate direction for you to see if there's like where Cassandra might have gotten to, that sort of thing. It's hard to see. Let's see, what time of day would it be? I'd say around about this time of day, like sort of early evening, late afternoon sort of time. Most of the city is quite is quite busy in its own standard way, and you're not too far away from the commercial district, so there's a lot of people going out and getting shopping at this time. You see that while there are guard patrols that are more populous than they were previously, instead of going around in as twos, they're going around in fours, and a lot of them are constantly on the move, but they're all going in different directions, so it's hard to, you'll be up there for a while before you see anything that really tricks you
I'm
out.
gonna stay up until I see something.
Okay.
Or until the others call me down.
Yeah. Renji, similarly, there's a lot of people who are kind of just going about their day. As you ask things, most of the people that you ask who are paying attention to the bell, a lot of them are just like, I don't know, someone's on the run, I guess, and just kind of like not really paying too much attention as their day goes on. Before I continue, is Hikan and Zayden doing anything in this particular instance?
I think Zayden will join in the aerial searching squad
Okay.
on his broom.
And
I would
Hikan?
run through town, taking a look around through that way because I am not a talker, unlike Renji.
Okay. So perception checks for the both of you, please.
Natural 1 for a 13.
Oof.
Here we go.
Game does not want us to see
26.
who's happening now.
20,
No.
you still have foresight, I see. Yay.
I do still have foresight. Would have been a 26 either way. That was the first roll, but still.
Okay.
So good.
So with Zayden, much the same. There's too many people going in too many different directions, and given the nature of it, it might be that even the guards themselves don't really know. But Hikan, you're the one who picks it up first. You maneuver. You go. You start running through the streets, and it doesn't take you too long, given your speed. Eventually, you find yourself coming up to the border of the eastern residential district, where, of a peculiar note, there's a small crowd that's gathered around one of the nearby walls. Not the walls surrounding the castle, but something like in like a little lower level of the city. There's something that's there's like a kind of wall sort of thing, and you recognize this kind of area as you enter it. This is the same sewer entrance that you went into when looking into Lord Whitestone's son's death. It's and you kind of push past this crowd, and you see a number of the guards who are kind of staring at what appears to be a hastily kind of summoned wall of stone that is standing in front of what you can only assume to be the entrance to the sewers beneath the city.
I presume there's kind of like a Ika-style whistle call type of thing.
Yeah.
For like long distance communication. So Hikan will blow out one of those really loudly, run up the wall of stone, and I'll wait to see who all shows up.
Okay.
I don't want to go down there on my own.
Yeah. So as you kind of signal out and wave, at this point, Max, Zayden, your perception checks catch the crowd, but more importantly, they catch Hikan, who's trying to get your attention. Renji, you hear the whistle.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes you as long as it would normally do to get to that location. But just before they arrive, Hikan, you turn and see, landing on the wall behind you is Impa, and she's not happy.
Fair. How far is it to kind of run from where I am to Hikan?
Roll me a D100, but before you do, pick high or low.
Oh boy. 1d100. Let's go high. Nope.
So you start in your investigations. You started going north as opposed to south from your house. So you would have been a little further away.
I would like to cut that time in half and use my boots of speed.
Okay. Then it doesn't take you too long to get there. In the short time before the party rejoins you, Hikan, Imper's just kind of... Your passive perception tells you that she's more angry at herself than she is at anyone else in the area.
That's fair. Hikan nods, but he doesn't say anything. He figures he'll stick his foot in his mouth if he says too much right now.
I will not open my mouth so my foot cannot enter it.
Exactly.
As I get there, the only thing I will say is, Impa, what's the situation?
She sighs, and then we'll fill you in on the details. As we have a brief cutscene.
Yay,
So-
cutscene triggers.
30 minutes ago.
Cutscene.
Yeah. So about 45 minutes ago, after receiving a call from each of you, or a call from you guys explaining what the situation is, Impa stands outside of your house. She's flanked by several guards as she watches the tree outside of your house expand with this enormous portal before, Max, you step through and hand her a box, and then you vanish back into the portal and the tree closes behind the two of you. Impa opens the box slightly to see a turtle and closes the box and just shakes her head and is like, I should get used to this by now, and will then proceed to leave the house with the 4 guards. She doesn't take the box to the castle, and in her reasoning for this is simple. If something goes wrong, she would rather Cassandra be outside of the castle walls than in them. So she takes it to a different jail that is located on the border of the Eastern Residential District and the Commercial District. It's a small guard outpost which has a fairly extensive dungeon that exists below the building with some robust cells. This journey, given that she's walking at the pace of her slowest guard, takes roughly 20 minutes. When they get to the building, Impa, not taking any chances, demands that a cell is opened, at which point she puts the box in the cell without opening the box, leaves it, and demands it is closed and locked. She does that. At which point she then moves to a different room in order to deliberate what the next plan is by speaking through sending stones to Nihilus. The conversation takes roughly 10 minutes, during which time Zaiden's concentration is broken as he is exploded with the Bombus medallion. The box in the cell explodes and out pops Cassandra, taking into account her situation. Her hands are not bound, and she has in front of her a cell door. The 2 guards that are posted there are curious as to what has just transpired. They didn't expect a woman to suddenly apparate out of the box. But as they kind of stand and deliberate on this, Cassandra then assesses a situation and waits. 5 minutes later, Impa returns into the room. She can see that the woman is armed only with a knife, but as far as Impa is concerned, she's able to. I mean, she would be capable of dealing with Cassandra. She isn't so silly as to, if she's going to go in and try and disarm the woman, she's not going to do so without having the backup of the guards on hand. And she even gets extra guards to be around just in case. But Impa is not aware of what Cassandra currently has on her possession besides that knife. The cell door is opened. Within the next second, Cassandra's first order of business is to remove an item from her belt pouch and throw it to the floor. It is a small spherical object with a split in the middle and this kind of viscous glowing substance in the center. The moment it makes contact with the floor, it flashes with a bright light. Everyone that isn't Cassandra is affected by the effects of a Deku Nut, which is they are blinded, and so long as they are blinded, they are stunned.
I have one of those still.
Cassandra then moves past Impa through the door with... as she moves, she sees one guard enter the room who has not been stunned. She reels back with a haymaker, and her sleeve moves to see this golden band around her right wrist, and with one punch, poof, lays the guy out on the floor, and then books it. 6 seconds later, the stun wears off. Impa is awake, sees the cell empty, and gives chase. However, she doesn't have to go far before she's out in the street, and sees standing ready for her is Cassandra. Just as Impa goes to take her weapon, she critically fumbles on the dice roll for a dex save, as Cassandra flicks a bead of force at her and captures her in the ball. Cassandra then moves over, picks it up because anything inside a bead of force ball is 1 pound, and she now has 20 strength, and hucks it for distance in a completely different direction before booking it in another one.
That's not good.
Impa herself lands 5 streets over and has to sit there fuming for 1 full minute before the ball dissipates, and she gets up and dusts herself off and resolves to kill Cassandra in the most painful way possible when she finds her.
Does Impa say that
Yes.
to us? Okay.
Mass is just gonna nod, like, yep, I'm in.
I would like to roll a charisma saving throw to avoid grinning. That's a 21.
Okay, you managed to avoid grinning.
I keep my face under control.
Okay, well, time to go in, and Hikan dives into the manhole cover.
I would like one
You would have to get rid of the stone that's in front of it, though.
Oh, okay.
It's
I
in
thought the
front,
wall of
it's blocking
stone was blocking it.
I'm just gonna say, are there other entrances?
A few, yes.
Let's get to one of those.
Okay.
I would like to
Getting rid of this is
have
gonna
one
take too
point
much
of
time.
clarification. In regards to my boots of speed, I can use them up to 10 minutes a day. How long was the trip from where I started to Hikan?
I'd say about 5.
Okay, then I have 5 minutes left.
Yeah. But yeah, so the 5 of you move through the city to the next nearest entrance. The way that the sewers work is that it's not necessarily a manhole cover. It's that there are actual like ironclad doors that go into the wall and then through a path. Because like the waterways beneath Hyrule Castletown are immense.
Big enough that the city should have collapsed into them by now.
Yeah.
Yes. But they haven't, because magic.
Because magic.
Because magic. Okay. So, you head inside. Each of you either has some form of constant light source or dark vision. You don't need to worry about that. Impa is included in that number. You head down into the darkness and begin moving through. Unfortunately, a big part of these massive waterways is that also quite maze-like. It's difficult to note where everything is. Impa does make the suggestion that if we're going to be doing this, then we should go back to where that entrance was.
Yes.
Yeah. So, it takes you a few minutes to get there as you move through different passageways and everything, but eventually you find that same entrance. And at that entrance, covered in, drenched in water, with a inert rope next to them are 2 men, both of which are dressed in the formal attire of Royal Guard cadets. and you recognize these men, despite the fact that you haven't seen them in a while. This is
no.
Paulie and Tony.
No.
no.
They're alive and
up in the
spluttering and
world.
cold, but they're there.
Yeah, I'm glad they're moving up in the world, but still, that's sad.
Poor guys.
Yeah. I help them up and prestidigitate them.
The most henchman-ass guys in the world.
If they're not wearing and carrying halberds, what are they even doing?
Yeah. One of them has a halberd, the other one does not.
Oh no.
So kind of like stared up and just kind of dusted each other off, and Paulie goes, "Oh, it's great to see you. Oh, jeez, oh, didn't think that was going to happen
Which
today."
way did you go?
Paulie
time
kind
is of sorry, time is of the essence.
No, it's fine. Paulie kind of like looks about and tries to think of something, at which point realizes there are multiple exits from this locale, and then it's like, I don't know. Tony says,
Then I'm gonna turn around and look for tracks.
sorry, say that again.
I'm gonna turn around and look for tracks.
Okay. Give me a survival, please.
I'm going to cast Borrowed Knowledge on myself to get proficiency in survival.
27.
Okay.
Let's
All
see.
right.
For the moment, 21.
Okay. So 21 and a 27.
And a 27 for Max.
You're able to find some form of trace. It's not easy to find. It's largely because it's damp stone. But you do manage to find something to use. It appears that she took the next left as you fall, and it's difficult to see like with the distance of darkness and everything like that, but you're able to kind of keep following the track as you go. You'll be slowed a little bit, but you'll be able to do it. As you
should Polly and
depart,
Tony come with us?
if you want them to.
They could follow behind and make sure to like cover the exit when we find it.
Yeah. Yeah. You continue following along. Impa kind of just as you go along, looks to Paul, it turns out. So what happened? And Tony goes, "Oh well, we were just coming back from our training, and we saw the perpetrator just running away from guards. They pulled out a spell scroll, so well," and Paulie goes, "Well, I tackled her, and Tony helped me tackle her, and we went into here, and well, we got into a bit of a scrape. He's a lot stronger than we were expecting. Yeah, a lot stronger. But well, after a while, she broke my halberd, and then we were prepared to keep going, and then she hit Paulie with a rope, and he went into the water, so I had to go and get him, and by the time we got out, well, she was gone."
Insight check.
Sure.
I believe him.
19.
They seem more apologetic than anything. They don't really like. It's not like they're trying to conceal anything. You did see a length of rope left by them when you found them. But yeah, they seem at least to be trying to be honest.
Good. That's okay. As we were walking, I grab a thing from my pouch and give it to Hikan. I say, "I have 2 of these," and I hand Hikan a Deku nut.
Oh.
Okay. I will put that in my attacks.
So, You continue following these tracks. Eventually, as you move down one of the corridors, you hear a noise from up ahead. It sounds like something metal's being dropped.
Something big or small or...
Small.
I'm gonna be ready to put my wing in front of my face in case this is another flashbang.
Okay.
Shall we try
Or some other kind of thing that will attack my eyes.
Should we try and sneak closer?
Yeah.
Good idea.
Sneaky.
Stealth, please. Stealth? Stealth.
Stealth!
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 Stealth.
No stealth.
Stealth. Stealth.
I would like to activate Visions of the Astral Self to double my dark vision, to double the distance of my dark vision, to see if I can see anything ahead before we get too close to where we heard the sound.
You see, just at the edge of that newly expanded dark vision, a shape.
Humanoid shape or
Humanoid shape, but it appears to be holding something, and it is very slowly coming towards you. Not in a shambling manner. The steps are too sure of themselves in order to be that, but
we have something approaching us.
All right. I move kind of into the shadows of the tunnel.
okay. You sneak to the side. And let's see. Zayden, it takes you somewhat a little bit by surprise, but you are able to, and in ordinary circumstances this would be an unfortunate situation, but as the figure gets closer you realize that it's not something that you need to be hiding from. What you see is Nihilus, who with one arm is dragging the unconscious form of Cassandra, and in the other arm is her right arm.
Oh!
Damn. Now Max knows about illusions. Can I make a check to see if this is some kind of illusion?
Give me an investigation check.
I'm not good at those, but I will try.
Neither am I.
I'll try.
Oof!
5. No, I'm not gonna know.
Zayden gets a natural 20 for 25.
And a 13 from Renji.
Yeah, with your collective investigation checks, it's hard to tell. I mean, this is like the fact that this has happened and has gone so swimmingly well, at least for this one person. Max, you're a bit dubious at first. Renji, yeah, much the same. Zayden, you analyze every possible discrepancy or contradiction that could ever happen with an illusion. This is the real deal.
You don't see the pixels.
You don't see the pixels.
Blood actually exists when it drops to the floor rather than just vanishing.
Yeah.
Zayden will then look to Evan and say, "It's okay, she's been properly disarmed."
I thought I was supposed to be the funny one.
Zayden is a dad in character, to be fair.
There's a few sides that Mask goes, eh. I get it. I get it.
Zayden will pat Renji on the shoulder and say, "It works better when you do it rarely."
I suppose so. I will speak to Nihilus in Shiga. Do we need to give you a hand?
So I'm the only person who doesn't get to understand this. Fine, I see how it is.
So sorry.
Everyone else here is Sheikah.
Yeah.
Polly and Tony aren't.
Except for Cassandra as well. Like,
I assume she. Well, you said she's unconscious, so.
Yeah, she's very unconscious.
She lost a lot of blood.
Oh dear.
Had a lot
But-
of arm.
A lot of arm, yeah. But yes, so Nihilus will kind of like quirk an eyebrow and say like, "No, I am fine. Suppose I am something of a cut above the rest when it comes to this."
Well,
And-
you made her mostly armless. That one is in common.
We will be here all day if we continue this game.
I suppose so.
Make sure to remove every magical thing on her.
Of course.
I will cast Detect Magic for that and help.
Let's see. You cast Detect Magic. The only thing that's magical is the armband that is on the arm that is no longer a part of her body.
Well,
Take the armband. Just in case.
I will definitely
Oh wait, that's the
remove
armband.
that.
20 strength as well.
I believe we had an encounter with that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Who needs more strength?
If it's an attunement thing, my attunement's last roll full. Although
I
I could probably do something with the claw to switch out.
I would probably just stick out my stick of warning.
I
Need to really
think
worry about
with a
ambushes.
20 charisma and the fact that I'm everything procs from there, I do not need a 20 strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have this golden band which looks like a very counterfeit Goron's bracelet. Potent, but very much not the original article that it would have been based on.
It's got Goron's bracelet written on the side, but the G is kind of looks like a B.
Yeah.
Who wants it then? Who wants to be strong?
We'll just figure it out later.
Yeah. Nihilus does say there was a dagger that she dropped over there.
Can I go look for it?
Sure.
You got detect magic on, so you should be able to find it if it's
Mhm.
magic.
Do I need a perception check for this?
Yeah, go for it.
25.
So the 25 doesn't take you too long. You follow the blood trail from
The
from the arm, and you manage to find what appears to be a ornately designed curved dagger of some description that you managed to acquire. What exactly is magical about it? Currently unknown. But
We
yeah.
can find out later when we're not in the sewer.
Yeah.
Because it
Speaking of-
smells.
Speaking of, Emperor's like, and she kind of sighs a bit and stares at Cassandra, and Nihilus says, "From what I understand of your screaming over the sending stone earlier, I understand, but it is important that you go through the proper process. This is not just about her crimes here. She's taken a lot away from a lot of people for the sake of her own greed. Those people need proper closure." And Impa just kind of like nods a bit dejectedly and then says, "I know this is really childish, but can I just like kick her or something?" And like, "We'll see when we get out of here."
Give her the arm. She don't need it anymore.
He's gonna just proceed out and just kind of like follow on, and then Impa just says, "So, I gotta ask, how did you find her so quickly?" And so, "I know this city's underground quite well. I know a lot of the places here. I might have fumbled a lot in a lot of things in recent months, but I still can do my job fairly well. At least I would hope so." Like, it seems all kind of business at this point today. But then, given the matter, it's yeah. It is unlikely that he was going to be of any other mindset, truth be told. Yeah. So with dagger in tow, as well as the still unconscious form of one of the last remnant, the literal last part of the Twilight Cartel, you exit the sewers and into the open air. The relatively fresh air of metropolitan Hyrule is significantly better than what you were just in. Paulie and Tony kind of look to each other, and Nihilus looks over his shoulder and says, "The two of you have done well. I shall make sure to recommend you further to your commanding officer."
Go take a rest and clean up.
Thank you.
Probably
You take care.
Clean up and rest in that order.
Yeah. You know, and they continue to head along their way, discussing. It's like Tony's like, I don't suppose Commander's going to be annoyed that I lost my Albert, right? And so, let's just go. Let's go.
Do you still have it?
No, it's
I could fix it.
It fell in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As those two get out of earshot, I turn to Nihilus and Impa, and I say, I believe while the Civil War may have been dealt with, we need to prepare for war.
There's kind of like a sigh from Nihilus, and like, it never ends, does it? I
It
thank you for
should
your vigilance.
soon.
I would hope so. Now let us make sure that this one does not bleed to death before they can see justice done, and then we will, when they're squared away in a better box. There's kind of a tinge to that, where like as if like there's something like he might be just giving Impa a little bit of a hard time, but he just kind of like carries on and says, when we put her in a better box and properly tied up, then we can head back to the castle and discuss in full what to do. In the meantime, this is a good development. If with Cassandra taken care of, it will mean that we are able to focus on the one remaining matter. And he is of a similar mindset to Impa in that don't take Cassandra to the castle just in case. But when they get to the jail cell and put her in a cell after making sure that she's patched up and like stabilized, they bind her legs, they bind her one remaining arm, and they put her in a cell that is then locked and then chained shut, and then given 3 guards, no less, at any given opportunity, and says, and Nihilus' express order is, you bring her bread and water for the next few hours while things are being deliberated. You pass it to her from a distance of 10 feet. That is not a joke. Do not give her any opportunity to get out. And the guy's like, yes, yeah, it's fine. And Nihilus walks out. Before eventually you are all taken up to the castle.
So I don't know, I think at some point we'd also know if we keep the arm preserved, if she ever does somehow manage to escape again, that will make it basically impossible to resist scrying, I think.
Yeah. That's a good idea. He'll, Nihilus
It's a
will...
bit morbid, but yeah.
Yeah, Nihilus will follow that suggestion. But yeah, eventually, a little more tired, a little more relaxed though. After having apprehended this person, you spend the next few minutes heading up to Hyrule Castle, where you are then greeted in the audience chamber by King Rufus, Prince Advisor Marius, and Princess Sophitia, as well as various little entourage of handmaids and servants and guards in the chamber and everything. Just a standard sort of affair. It's not as super duper secretive at this point in time.
And
Unless
Princess Sophitia is not disguised?
No, actually. When word, like, within the... She's not in, like, super formal dress.
Mm-hmm.
But she's...
Are any of them in super formal attire?
Not really. Not really. But, like, she's no longer dressed as a handmaiden. I think when... if asked, Sophitia says, well, we got word that Cassandra had been captured and what was left of the cartel and everything had been... It's largely, hopefully, squared away. I thought I'd get back into my clothes. As much as I appreciate the handmaiden's attire for the sake of its disguise ability, these feel a bit more comfortable.
Understood.
Yeah.
If you happen to still have your the ear cuff.
Oh, yes. In fact, that's the one thing that she still wears it, despite the fact that she's in a dress. So she takes it off, and eventually her features return to what they were beforehand, and she passes you back the ear cuff.
I forgot she was wearing it.
Yeah.
I take it. I thank her. Kind of look at it, and I'll decide to start wearing it somewhere not here, because who knows what's programmed in here right now. I want to impersonate the princess.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. But yeah, the so as you kind of like settle in, Rufus sits forward. The Sheikah bodyguards return to the people that they are meant to be protecting, and Rufus kind of looks forward and says, "So, still not used to this. How has it been going? Did I say that right?" And Maris is like, "No, but we'll work on that." What happened?
I think for the sake of expediency, we fill them in.
Yeah,
just big
go
robot.
through things item by item.
Just say what happened with capturing Cassandra the first time, very literally.
Yep.
Yeah. Sophitia bursts out laughing. There's no room for decorum here. Rufus finds it quite funny, and Maris is just kind of... I mean, Maris's like post-character development. He's still like, he doesn't like look down on it. He just kind of nods professionally. He's able to, through his...
Internally going, how have these just hyper-competent people been around? How do they keep getting away with this shit?
Yeah. Yeah, Rufus just kind of like after kind of like getting over his own chuckles, like, oh well, that's fantastic. I hope that we're able to at least settle what remains of the war without there being any more bloodshed.
We've notified Lady Risha and have mentioned that she could travel southward from Port Sarkosa. And try and find a diplomatic end to the conflict.
Hmm.
And the main thing left is for us is the Nazgûl stuff.
Yes.
See. Kind of, they all mull it over. Nihilus picks up the dialogue and says, "We haven't really gained any insight as to where we can start with this Nazgûl, but we have been seeing a worrying change of weather in the west. Or I say weather,
have we?
time is probably more accurate.
It's too dark.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We have noticed that as well as we were traveling, and it was disconcerting, to say the least.
Better restless.
Yes. There were sightings of Poes.
The ghost had some stuff I don't remember. I'm sure it was very important.
Kind of nod a little bit and think it over. After a moment, Sophitia is the one who says, "This seems like one of those situations Father always talked about." And Rufus is like, what situation? What did he talk about? Marius then adds on, "Ordinarily, little brother, there's..." Let me start again. Our kingdom is a storied one. There's a lot of significant events and magics and portents that have happened in our history. In most of those situations, a great evil is met by a great good. And oftentimes, a princess is part of that trio. Rather consistent on that last bit. It is normally why the women in our family are capable of such great powers. But this feels different somehow. I'll kind of look over to each of you. Are any of you actually wearing any bright green?
Yes.
I'm
Blue.
wearing red.
Blue.
Um,
All blue.
Max and I are both blue.
Yep.
Zayden wears green.
Yeah. I look Zayden up and down and say, the green part is right on that one, but it always specifies boy. Unfortunately, sir, you are a little too old for that.
I
Could
would
be
be
wrong,
concerned
though.
if I met someone who called me a boy at this point.
Boy.
saying to the 200-year-old druid, "Listen here, child." It's just fucking.
There are few individuals in this universe that can do that, but
Yeah,
few and far between.
The Great Decatry, maybe.
Yeah. Marius just kind of thinks over it a little bit more and says, and we've already discussed in greater numbers exactly I think you discussed it in this room, the matter of acquiring the Master Sword or the Triforce.
Yep,
Yeah.
we had.
Just like objects of a holy nature in general, and those two were brought up.
Yeah.
And then the goddess harp became the thing.
Yeah.
Because that was the most achievable one.
Yeah.
He kind of thinks and he says, I think we're missing some vital pieces, and it might take too long in order to find the appropriate pieces so to speak. And Rufus kind of nods a little bit. And Impa brings up... I was about to say Aaliyah, but I have to remember Aaliyah's mute. So it's... she hasn't had a single line of dialogue this entire campaign. I remember the specific reason why is because she is mute. But... actually, no. Aaliyah says it via sign language to Impa and Nihilus. Like a very short phrase as the armor on her hand clatters with the rapid finger movements. And Impa kind of nods and looks to translate and says, "Do you think it's worth a council then?" And the royals just kind of look to each other. Marius looks to Rufus and explains again. In times of crisis, with Father's new constitutional monarchy-style government, he wanted to make sure that the people who are put in positions that are trusted in this variety are, well, involved in larger discussions. A council would mean that we would bring every noble that we could into this room, and there would be something of a vote to deliberate. It concerns the entire kingdom, therefore every facet of the kingdom needs to be brought in. And there's kind of this air of sort of hesitance with Marius with it, in that, like, this feels like a fairly emergency situation. Decisions need to be made that can't require this sort of thing. But Rufus just kind of like perks up and goes, oh, well, of course, that makes sense, I think.
Does that include Lord Dipshit? Max says that verbatim.
Does that include Lord Ditchy? Rufus, confused, cocks an eyebrow. Sophitia smirks.
About to correct, and then... No, that's fair. That's accurate.
Marius is kind of like, is a little confused himself. And Nihilus just kind of leans over and says, they mean Lord Rickshaw. And Marius says, oh...
That makes
yes,
sense.
Unfortunately.
Weird that unfortunate things keep happening around him when he's near us. Just weird.
Very strange odors.
Mm-hmm. Ironically, it would mean that we do not have Risha's say-so. She is our Lady of Defense, and if she's currently dealing with what remains of the Civil War, then waiting for her to come back would take a little bit of time.
I think Renji invents in his head the concept of teleconferencing. And he says, I do have a direct line via Sending Stone with Lady Risha.
And Rufus just kind of like looks up and beams and says, see? They think of everything. And it's just like... Sophie just shakes her head. It's like, very well. If that's the case, then we shall make sure that everyone is brought into the equation. It might take some time to gather everyone, as even if it is an emergency, some of our nobles are very old and very stubborn, so it will take some time for them to actually get here. But I believe when the call for emergency is made, they will make their presence known. And Rufus kind of nods and says, very well. I suppose then that means that we just have to send out the... can we... Sophie, sure. And looks over and like gestures to a servant to fetch a few runners to go into the city to find the nobles. As they disappear, there's something of a bit of a... Impa brings up the elephant in the room, which is... Well, we have replaced we have replaced our Lord of the Arcane. Temporarily. We do not have a Lord of Education still. And given that you were all part of his last retinue, Ordinarily, this duty would fall to Mara, but well, he pauses.
She'll be
And-
back.
Understood. She'll. Yeah.
Wondering if you could all form a collective vote on Simeon's behalf.
Sure.
I don't see why not.
Thank you.
Is this vote going to be
What are we voting on exactly?
momentarily, as in as soon as everyone is arranged, or do you feel there is time between now and then?
It will take a little bit of time for everyone to be ready. We'll say within the next hour and a half. We'll be voting on essentially allocation of resources and general plan of attack.
All right.
If there's anything you need to be doing in the meantime, then we won't hold you to it. You're more than welcome to do what needs to be done.
No, I think I was wondering if we have time for some relaxation. We have been going at it for a while.
Kind of nods a bit. There isn't even deliberation. Nihilus just says, of course. Go and rest, sleep, if you need to. We can hold off the vote until we have everybody ready. Hour and a half is just a conservative estimate in regards to how long it takes everyone else to get ready. It might even be later in the evening. You're more than welcome to utilize the kitchens or the spare rooms here, but I understand if you would rather go to your own home because it is a place of comfort and familiarity.
Max will nod and then just head out to go to the house to go
Yeah.
check on the others.
Okay.
And I think Renji will go up to his own room.
Okay.
Although, did he move into the house? I forgot.
I
I think you have a room there.
in
I
the
think you
house.
have a room there, but you also have the room in the castle.
Yeah, I think then I'll join the others to at least be together as a unit.
Yeah, you have the biggest room on the second floor.
That's far.
That's fine. It's okay. You've got a fireplace and everything.
Yay!
Pretty sure Max's room just has some bookshelves and that's it.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want anything else.
Oh dear. But yeah, you so Max goes home. Renji goes to his room at the castle. What does?
Oh no, I will go to the house.
Oh, you'll go to the house too. Cool.
Yeah.
Hikan and Zaiden, what about yourselves?
Zaiden will take a room in a castle.
Sure. You are shown to a room. I think you've stayed there once before. Not much has changed, in truth. And Hikan?
I think Hikan's just gonna, I would say wander, but HP wise, he's the one that needs to rest the most.
Mm-hmm.
At least short rest to get you keep points
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I think Hikan won't go too far.
I'm also just going to check in on the other Maxes.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure
We'll
they're
probably
okay.
get
And
Yeah. So, you head to the house. It is much the same as it was the last time you were there. as you enter inside, you see that Maxwell has spent much of his time or he seems to be in the kitchen creating something. Whether or not it is actually I mean, he probably would have learned enough by now in order to be able to cook on the regular. So he has a very simple meal being prepared. Maximilian is currently sitting in the dining room, just kind of reading a spare book that has been given to him.
Oh, wait, are we doing just a short rest?
I believe so.
Or at
I
least
don't
get
know
in a
if
short
I don't
rest
know. I
in-
don't know if we'll have enough time before this boot to have a long rest.
Yeah.
The way that Nihilus phrased it is that an hour and a half is basically like the fastest that they could possibly envision the meeting happening in, but they will hold it off until you're there. So if you wanted to, and because you only sleep for 4 hours, if you wanted to sleep for 4 hours, then you can do.
It would be nice to have spell slots again. Don't know
It
how
would
necessary
be.
they are.
It would be. Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you guys can long rest. Tikon's just mostly gonna wander, so I'm doing short rest stuff. Because
Okay.
Tikon's more restless than anything else.
I don't think Max is gonna sleep. He's mostly just gonna hang out here and fill the other two in on what's been going on.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think
Was
Max
it-
can sleep right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, sleeping's rough.
They're happy to the Maxes are happy to listen to Max Prime.
It's probably the
I'm
most.
Max Prime.
It's probably the most Max has talked since he recited chunks of Mara's book.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah. They're kind of like, they explain from their perspective what happened. They saw Impa take a box and go with guards with the box away. She wasn't being like super antisocial about it or anything like that. But when asked if she needed assistance at the time, she said she was fine, not aware, of course, of what was about to transpire.
Yeah. Not gonna tell them like how Cassandra got away, just that she did, and we helped to
Yeah.
track her down. And it turned out Nihilus got her. Surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. The oh dear. Yeah, they listen attentively as you inform them of everything that's happening. Maxwell shares whatever food he's made. He's made a lot. But yeah. Renji, besides sleeping, what is there, like, as part of your rest, is there anything else you needed to do, or are you just gonna get into bed and sleep?
I was thinking of sleeping and regaining my strength, but I also my thing about like, hey, when is this actually going to happen? Is I wanted to go and visit now Lord Uriel.
That's fair.
If it's a shopping thing, we might all want to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. So we'll
We
do that
probably
after
all
the
have
vote.
things to do there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you kind of clamber into bed, and the first, it takes a tiny bit of time to get there, just to fall asleep. You are tired, but it's that kind of state of like, there's still a lot happening, and the one thing that you've got left to do is the most important one. So it's just, it takes you a bit of time to relax enough to be able to go to sleep. Zayden, are you also just clambering into bed just to rest? Yeah.
Let's take a full long rest.
Yeah.
Done. Plenty of work today.
Yeah.
Enough.
Kind of just.
I have earned my stay in this castle suite.
Yeah.
I sure hope there's bed and breakfast.
Oh, you know there is.
Excellent.
Even though by the time you wake up, it'll be like 10 in the evening, so it'll be closer to a midnight snack than anything else. But yeah, and Hikan, your wanderings. Do you have an objective to your wanderings?
No, not really. I don't I might end up in the library, I might end up in the gardens. I'm just wandering to wander at this point.
Yeah. You wander around, watch as the time goes by. The evening creeping in like at an appreciable time and pace now, as opposed to like several hours ago within the span of an hour or so. But yeah. Eventually, as time gets on, like Hikan, probably, since you are actually at the castle, you can see like a number of people wander up. The first one that you see is Lord Whitestone, who is attended to by one guard. But he's very much like he's dressed not necessarily for procession. He's dressed for business. He's got like his noble attire on that is practical, but not like so over the top. He's not expecting to be received by an audience or anything like that. But then, you know, out of most of the nobles that are in the retinue, he's one of the few professional ones by comparison. He's followed there swiftly by Lord Das, this fairly tall, imposing man with this long white beard. He's always in his plate armor, this ornate purple sheened armor as a paladin of Chronica, and is also followed by a small retinue. Next up, you see arriving about half an hour afterwards, but at the same time would be Lord Barstum and Lady Milrose, who are just kind of quietly chatting amongst themselves. Lady Milrose, like always, has shirked most of the noble clothing for something a bit more practical and comfortable. This is then followed very swiftly by Lord Dr. Crane, and then followed swiftly by Lord Fontsworth, and then Lord Rickshaw. The latter two are grumbling about the indignity of having to be at the castle for an emergency meeting this late in the evening. How dare! But that's But yeah, they don't pay you any mind.
Tempted to stay in the house longer to make them suffer.
But yeah, eventually, each of you managed to you get your appreciated rest in. You are fed. You are restored of your hit points and your spell slots and everything. And within your own time and pace, you make your way up to the castle. If you are not in the castle, a runner has come to basically say everybody's here. If and when you're ready, please return to the castle, etc., etc. And I think, as that stands, I know we're ending early, but I want to see if I can make this more of a social encounter rather than just talking, and maybe include some dice rolls into this meeting. So we'll end it here so I can plan that. Yeah. Thank you,
does
everybody.
That mean that our next session is going to be next year?
Yeah.
The entire year?
Oh my
Episode
god.
137 in the year 2025. Yeah. Where the fuck does time go? What is time? Why is time? I don't know.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff.
Yeah.
Time is nonsense soup.
Yep. But yes, I am ArticulateT. This has been Hyrule Chronicles. This has been episode 136. And as always, I have had Renji Vox being played by Nether.
Next time we talk.
I've had Hikan Sio being played by Alvarans.
Bye-bye.
I have Max being played by Keistrith.
I'm ready for my only contribution to the event being me rolling intimidation checks against Lord Dipshit.
Yeah!
And I have Zaiden Shari being played by Rubber Pirate.
I finally have the chance to give him a dose of the Goron spice.
Yay!
We'll see you folks next time. Take care now. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.